It's definitely insightful, motivating, and I like that I learned some formations to do in the air.
I thought he was very motivational and he was really funny, and I kind of want to go skydiving now, but I'm still a little scared.
Got me pumped up, energized. I liked it. A great way to start off the morning.
David Hart is a skydiver, author, and former U.S. Army Ranger. He served 3 years in an elite U.S. Army Ranger unit, an additional 5 in a Pathfinder unit. He's a graduate of Pathfinder, Jumpmaster, Jungle Expert School, and the Army's most intense small unit leadership training, the U.S. Army Ranger School. Over the last 30 years, David has accumulated thousands of parachute jumps from tiny to large cargo airplanes, out of helicopters, hot air balloons, and even off bridges. He has competed several times at the U.S. Nationals of Skydiving, a licensed pro skydiver and instructor who has facilitated over 1,000 first jump experiences. David is a founding member of the most active commercial skydiving team in the world. Founded in 2002, Team Fastrax professional skydiving team performs over 200 shows a year. It takes celebrities and wounded warrior skydiving for their first experience. He has jumped over Lower Mount Manhattan on the anniversary of 9/11 into NASCAR races, fireworks shows at night, professional sports stadiums, air shows, and even symphony performances. David is a graduate of the University of Cincinnati, and he has decades of business experience in sales, marketing, and management. His experience spans from small startups to large Fortune 100 companies. And David is active in the defense industry and works as a director for Segway Technology. David facilitates corporate team building and is author of Jump, Leads in Organizational Performance and Teamwork. He has spoken to hundreds of audiences, large and small, combining his experience to bring his message of leadership, teamwork, and overcoming challenges. David resides in Mason with his wife Lori and 3 sons, and David coaches multiple youth sports and can often be found at his brother's drop zone, Start Skydiving in Middletown, Ohio. Please join me and welcome David.
Thank you. Who here, given the opportunity, would jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Can you stand up, please? Stand up. Proud. All right. Stay standing. Just want you to know, all the people around you are taking notes. These are the crazy people in Ohima. Go ahead and sit down. We'll get to you later because I'm going to give away a tandem skydive, and one of you can jump with me. I've been jumping over 30 years, and I've experienced teamwork in a lot of different forms. And what I'd like you to do today is be a participant in all this and think about the teams in your life and the goals that you have. So that's what we're going to talk about, and I really encourage you to take notes as I'm going through today. So this is parachute cord. We're stronger together. It's called 550 cord because it has a tensile strength of 550 pounds. And what you see there is you have the inside. There's 7 white strands, and you have a sheath, a green sheath on the outside that protects those strands. A lot of people perceive that's what gives parachute cord its strength, but it's not. It's the 7 strands. It's the combination of you and Ohima. Ohima is the green sheath that holds you all together, but you individually make Ohima strong. You make your company strong. You make your family strong. You have the sheath is your organization, your family unit, whatever, your business unit that keeps this culture and structure around that group of people. This is my son Jake, my middle boy. He likes to play lacrosse, and I have a funny story for you. So there's one time Jake's in the bathtub, and this has been a few years ago. At the time, Jake was probably 6 or 7. I'm going to go Stephen Covey on him. Jake, what are your deepest goals? What do you really want? You know, Jake's in the bathtub. He looks down the bathwater. He looks up at me and goes, Dad, I want a haircut just like yours. I swear. I said, son, I can help you live your goal. I pulled him out of the bathtub. This is a true story. I shaved his head, and he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, but Dad, no, I want this too. I'm like, you want what? And my wife Lori like smacks me and goes, he wants a receding hairline. And I go, well, that'll come with time, son. But, you know, it's in a small way. Little things we do, you don't have to be a skydiver. You help each other to live your goals. The fact that we volunteer to help each other, our country is, our whole culture is centered around teamwork. Sometimes we don't feel that way, but I can tell you there is a ton of teamwork in our country. We reach out to each other in our communities, in our families, in our business units, and we get very frustrated as personally when we don't have that healthy culture. It's not a bad thing. I like to do different things to challenge myself to stay in shape, and I've been doing these Tough Mudders that are they're like 12, 13 miles through the mud and hills, and they have about 30 obstacles spread out there. You do it as a team. You're not timed. You go with a group of people, and this is one of my favorite obstacles because it requires trust and teamwork with people that you don't know at all. So if you look at this wall here, you can see the guys on top that are helping this person up the wall. If you look at the wall, all the way up to the wall on the far left, you can see one person struggling on the wall to get up. Okay, look how tall that thing is. And it's curved like a half pipe for a skateboard. So what you have to do, remember, you're covered in mud, the wall's covered in mud, and you don't know these people, and you got to take off at a dead sprint and run up this wall, and if someone doesn't grab your hand, you just pancake right into the wall. All right? And it's one of my favorite obstacles on the course because it's totally trust, and I love it. And it's just symbolic of, but people do. Some people, my favorite part was on top pulling people up, and the expression on their face looking at you like, are you going to get my hand? I'm like, come on, man, I got you. Really? You know? And that trust is so huge in teams. So your we role, I like to talk a lot about the power we. Your we role for you is getting from what's in it for me, you got to have that, what's in it for us. Get the power we. It's critical. Shared vision, common goals, mutual accountability. Again, write down what's the vision for my business unit, what's the vision for myself, what are my business unit's major goals, what are my major goals, and establishing that culture of mutual accountability. So I have a video here. It's very cool. It's 300 skydivers connecting in free fall, setting a world record. They're all from different countries, and they leave from nearly 20 different aircraft from 21,000 feet. The opening video, you see them breathing oxygen because they have to go up so high to start 21,000 feet. They're wearing an oxygen mask. There's all the airplanes. 300 skydivers are going to leave those airplanes and converge and build a large formation that they choreograph on the ground. So how does that work? How do you connect 300 people in free fall? Well, this is how you do it. You got a plan. You got an action plan. You break it down into small, manageable chunks. You create smaller teams. It looks like a pie chart. Well, 300 seems like a lot of people, right? It used to be, 50 years ago, they thought it was a big deal if 2 people could fall in free fall and pass a runner's baton to each other. That was a big accomplishment. And then they built 10, and then 20, and then 100, and 200, and 300. This is the plan for 400 skydivers, which they've already built. And there's a plan to do 500 skydivers. What you see in the middle, the red star, it's hard to tell, but all those people are facing that red star. That's what we call their center point. That's what they reference. That's your vision you have for yourself. That's your culture, your belief system. And every person has a role in that, getting from me to us. Down there, the main thing is balance point of focused and aware. I kind of use the Pareto principle. You need to be 80% focused on doing your job predictably and consistent, 20% aware of what's going on around you. 80% focused on doing your job predictably and consistent, 20% aware of what's going on around you and doing it in the context of your team. If you're not doing it in the context of your team, you're not maybe unintentionally undermining them, but you could be, or you could unintentionally undermine them, not intentionally. So being highly aware 100% of the time means that you're not focused on doing your job, and you probably spend a lot of time complaining around the water cooler. Focused and aware. This is the 400 way. There's the center point in the middle. We're always raising the bar in our country. And we force each other to do that because of our competitive environment. Vision. So vision, this is me looking out of an airplane, spotting for a jump. If you care where you land, it matters a lot where you get out of the airplane. That's why vision is so important. It doesn't have to be complex. Just write down, this is the vision I have for myself. This is where I'm going. This is where my company's going, my division, whatever. Have some general idea of what it is that you are striving for. And so my time as an Army Ranger is a great example of that. As you can imagine, it's an elite military unit. They have very high standards. The picture on the right is my dad pinning my Ranger tab on me, January of 1985. It's an 8-week course. It's a leadership school. And what they try to do over those 8 weeks is they deprive you of food, sleep, and you're outside the whole time under intense physical exertion. That's just the foundation. The real thing they want to do is put you in charge of people that are in that same position as you, that are cold, wet, hungry, tired, so tired that you fall asleep walking. And they're so hungry you become completely emaciated. And you're so cold that it's very common for people to become hypothermic. But try to lead a group of men like that. But it's awesome leadership school because in all of our lives, we have to find a way to work together. We're different people. It's not a matter of right or wrong. We just have different character traits. The people that stood up and said, yes, given the opportunity, I would jump out of a perfect good airplane. That's not a character flaw, although some of you might think that. That's a personality trait. It doesn't make you wrong or them right or anything. It just means that's the way they are. And so with teamwork in our organizations, you know what makes it so hard is that we're human beings. We misinterpret each other all the time. We do. We miscommunicate, we undercommunicate, we overcommunicate because we're different. In many ways, we have the same things in our lives that we value, but our personalities, we're not all exactly motivated the same way. So in the Ranger Battalion, what it comes down to, everyone's driven by results, like we are in our teams and our lives, but behavior drives results, not the equipment, not the uniforms, not the patches or the buildings or anything. Human behavior drives those results. And what drives your behavior? Your belief system. Your belief system drives the results. Beliefs, behavior, results. The Rangers generally use the same weapons, wear the same uniforms, they fly in the same airplanes, helicopters as the rest of the Army. It's their belief system. And on the left here, at the Ranger Memorial at Hunt Army Airfield in Savannah, Georgia, is the Ranger Creed. There's one Ranger. Each paragraph starts with R-A-N-G-R. And it talks about giving 100% and then some, setting the examples for others. I will never surrender. I will never leave a fallen comrade. The standards that we maintain. Always keep my equipment under great care and condition. It's our center point. That's what we reference. If you question what you're doing is of value to your team and you're doing it in the context of your team, the Ranger Creed is your center point. How many people, raise your hand please, if your boss set some goals for you this year? Anybody have any goals this year? How many people your boss said, you know what, let's lower your goals this year 20%? That never happens, right? Your goals always go up every year. We're always stretching ourselves. And it's a challenge to do that because there's always obstacles that come up in the way of us accomplishing our goals. What I have here is a world record, most skydives in 24 hours. My teammate, Jay Stokes. So I have made 100 skydives in 13 hours with a friend of mine for an event. This person far supersedes the number of jumps I made in 24 hours. And when you watch this, I want you to look at all the teamwork involved. It's way more than just that one person that set the record. I want you to think about the stretch goal. I also want you to think about your paradigms of your perception of skydiving being very dangerous and hazardous. This man, record you're seeing here, he made 43 jumps in 24 hours. 500, over 500. Every parachute opened, and he could have landed standing up in that row of tables right there every time. Never had to use his backup. He never packed his own parachute, and he has set the record 5 times. Jay Stokes. So let's watch how his day starts. Jay boards the plane with the door open. He's got someone there to greet him to help him in the plane. He's got a jump master in the plane to make sure he's rigged up properly and ready to go. He's got a pilot in the plane. He's going to fly the plane. They're going to leave the door open because he's only climbing up to 2,000 feet. It doesn't take very long. He's going to sit there right next to the edge of the door. He's going to be as efficient as possible. And he's going to have as much help as possible along the way to help him be efficient. He could never accomplish this by himself. So here goes the plane, taking off. Again, just a paradigm shift. I'm not trying to convince you to go skydiving. I'm just saying, look at the goals you have for yourself. Write some down. I know you do. At New Year's, we all do it. These are the things I want to accomplish this year, the big things. Some of them kind of challenge us. They could be fitness goals. They could be financial goals. They could be family, faith goals. Important thing is that you set goals for yourself, and you strive for them, and you help each other to achieve those goals. There's a common acronym down here. I didn't make this up, SMART. When you set your goals, make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and trackable, or timely. Set a timeline for yourself, what you're trying to accomplish. And the picture you see here is me landing in a baseball stadium. And when you look inside of a baseball stadium, it looks pretty large from the stands. Like, wow, that's a big open grass area, right? Well, look and see what it looks like from the airplane. That's the same stadium when we jump out of an airplane. It's a whole lot smaller, let me tell you, from up there. You can cover it with your pinky finger. I put a yellow arrow up there to highlight on some jumps. We jump in. This is Dayton Dragon Stadium in Dayton, Ohio. On some jumps, it's been so windy, I've actually got out of the airplane 2 miles away over I-75. A little bit intimidating because there's no place else you want to land. Look between there and the stadium. Where else do you really want to land? No place else. So the important thing here is to talk about is distractions. One of those things where you can obsess over, gosh, I hope I don't land in the river. Hope I don't hit some power lines. Man, I hope I don't hit an RTA bus. Man, I hope I don't land in the bleachers. Hope I don't hit the light poles. Hope I don't run into the scoreboard. Blah, 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 blah. You don't want to get inside your head that way. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. That's the key thing. And know your own limitations, of course. I've been jumping a long time. We're a professional skydiving team. This is well within our capabilities. Focus on what you want. Another important thing with goals is to limit the number of goals that you have at one time. When you jump in the military, the Rangers, this is a plane full of Rangers in a cargo airplane. They're all getting ready to jump. They're all strapped down with parachutes, and they have their rucksacks on their back. An Army Ranger leaves the airplane with themselves and their equipment, probably weigh close to 400 pounds. You run out of the airplane as fast as you can, right on top of each other. And they're round parachutes. Everybody comes out, they open, and then you drift down and you land pretty hard. But one of the things we do in the Rangers is that rarely are you in charge of more than 4 people. They figure in an intense combat situation, you can't supervise more than 4 people. So what happens is you have a fire team of 4 men, and one of them is a fire team leader. Then you have a squad leader in charge of 2 fire teams, a platoon leader in charge of 4 squad leaders. You have 4 platoon leaders and 1 company commander. Then you have 1 battalion commander and 4 company commander. You see the multiplier there? You just have 4 subordinates. It's a pyramid. I'm not suggesting that our organizations be steep or flat or whatever. I'm just thinking that when you set your goals for yourself, if you're setting, wow, I got really 20 or 30 really important things I want to accomplish this year. You know, it's probably not going to happen that you're going to accomplish all those. You need to narrow your focus on fewer big rocks that you want to get in there. Continuous improvement, innovation. The picture you see here is a picture of our skydiving team. We came up with this idea that, hey, you know what would be cool? Let's get out of an airplane at night and light ourselves on fire. So we improve our show, and we strap pyrotechnics to our body. They burn about 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, I know that sounds crazy. And there is no store you go to. You don't go to Walmart and go, hey, you guys got that stuff you strap to your leg and jump out of an airplane and light yourself on fire? We had some guys that innovated this. And they went to Home Depot and Radio Shack and put together our first kit for our team to jump. And we've gone beyond that. We have a second, third generation kits that we've innovated that. But let's watch one of the jumps. It's pretty cool. The important point here is just the innovation. Stretch goals, continuous improvement. So we strap all the gear up. We go up in the airplane. The airplane shot is twilight. Okay. So this is mutual. Let's talk about mutual accountability. This is very important in our teams. Is we have to be mutually accountable to each other. We can't see ourselves as separate from the other people in our team, or we disconnect ourselves. So the mutual accountability is something that you do unselfishly. You help other people for no other reason than incentive. Then I'm going to help this person because it's the right thing for the team. So this is a picture of me. I delivered the game ball at a Pro Beach volleyball tournament. And I've done this several times. There was one time in particular, my son, Peter, he's a football player. That Friday before the jump, we were sitting at the high school football game, and he asked me, he said, hey, Dad, you think that you could become a doctor? I was like, probably not going to happen, son. He goes, why do you ask? He goes, well, because, Grant Hoffman's down there. His dad's a team doctor. He gets on the field. I'm like, seriously? I'm not going to go to medical school, so you can get on the field, son. But so we jumped into the finals on Sunday, and my wife Lori was there with the boys, and I was coming down into the stadium with the ball and my boys, and the guy comes out, the announcer. This guy here has got the microphone, and it's on ESPN, and it's just all hyped up. People are beating these yellow sticks together. It's got Misty May, and I don't remember who her partner is. It's the women's finals. It's a pretty big deal. Peter's standing there. He goes, who's going to take the ball in? I said, here. Peter Hart is. He goes, Peter Hart, where are you from? He goes, oh, I'm from Mason, Ohio. And he goes, all right. He goes, I'll call you in. And so everybody's lined up, and it's just thundering, noisy in there. And this guy's like, with the game ball from Mason, Ohio, Peter Hart. He's like, ooh. He comes out there, and, he gives him the game ball, and he's on the Jumbotron, and he comes back out, and we're walking out of the tunnel. And I said, how'd you like that, Peter? He goes, oh, Dad, that was cool. I go, you think Grant Hoffman gets to be on ESPN? So, but my point there is, there's little things that we do that are unselfish like that make a big difference for people. And just keep that in the back of your mind when you're interacting with other people. It's just those little things that people are like, wow, that was really nice of that person to do that. And it makes a big difference in the trust within your organization. Mutual accountability. This is another example. We do a lot of this type of stuff. This is Grant Kopfler. He has a form of spina bifida. He was born without a section of vertebrae. A lot of health issues. He lives in my neighborhood. And we jump into all the University of Cincinnati home games. And I had contacted the football coach last year about coming down there to practice and having the team sign the ball. And the coach was awesome. He got all the team on a knee, had me introduce Grant. Every single player came by and met Grant and signed the ball. It was very cool. He said, Grant, you want to come back? You can play Madden football with my team sometime. And it happened for no other reason than I thought, you know what? I know Grant. I think I'm just going to contact these guys and see if we can pull Grant into this. And he slept with the football. He was down on the field when we jumped into the game with the game ball, and we delivered the game ball to Grant. And it had all the autographs on it. Okay. You guys are doing awesome so far. Now I want to know, who are the crazy people in Ohima? Can you stand up, please? The ones that are willing to go skydiving. Given the opportunity, if I give you a skydive today, you would take it. Okay? I'd like you to come forward, please. So what I'd like you to do, I'd like 5 people to stand right here. I'd like you 4 to come up here on stage, please. You can come up on stage too, ma'am. And then I'd like this group to come over here, if you would. See how many people we got here. We'll divide the group up even. I need 2 more up here. So we're going to leave. You can stay down. I need 1 group right here. So we got, give me, how many people got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You come up with a plan. I'm going to give you a plan. You prepare. I'm going to help you prepare. You're going to perform on your own. We just debriefed. You improve, and that's the continuous improvement cycle. Real simple. Drop your hands by your side. Close your eyes just a little bit, and just think about what you're doing here. I want you to see yourself being awesome. I want you to see your team being awesome, flawless. You're going to outscore the other two teams. You guys rock. You're completely confident in your teammates. You're going to move without hesitation. You're going to be animals. Open your eyes. Build the donut. CB, when you're ready. Impressive. Impressive, folks. So here's, hopefully you picked up a few nuggets there, or at least one thing you can take back with you. I'm not giving you rocket science, folks. I'm just trying to inspire you to think about the teams in your life and how you can be more productive in the different teams that you have. So look at your teams and consider that. So here's a 16. They also compete in 16-way. This is a 16-way competition skydive. But the same principles apply. It's just more people. It's more complex. They give you a little bit more time, but it's still synchronized. The formations are mandatory. They're not artistic. You have to build the exact formations that they give you to build. That's what they look like. Notice anything here? You got donuts. They're just little donuts within a... You got the next one, accordions. There's a bunch of little accordions. The next one is diamonds, just a bunch of little diamonds. You're just adding more complexity to it. So where's the hard part come in? The continuous improvement. It's the old iceberg thing. You know, 90-some% of our communication is not what I'm saying to you. It's how you're reading my body language, my inflection. That's how communication is. You think you're telling somebody something, and they're hearing something different. It's the communication where we break down the paradigms that we have. So a great example of this. These are my three boys. That's Ben sticking his tongue out. Why do people stick their tongues out every time there's a camera? But that's Ben. Peter's in the middle. Jake's on the right. This was a cave up somewhere south of Sandusky. This picture here is of Hocking Hills. Anybody been to Hocking Hills? Pretty beautiful place. There you go. And there's cliffs there. There's no guardrails. So we get out of my minivan. This is a great story about communication. And we walk up to this park sign, big giant brown sign, big giant yellows, danger, cliff. I'm like, well, this is going to be a great opportunity for the boys because they just barreled out of the van and darted through the parking lot. I'm like, boys, line up. Peter, you're in second grade now. Read the sign. Peter's like, danger, ice. I'm like, what? Son? Read the sign. He's like, danger, ice. Again, my wife, she's there for me. David, look down. So at his eye level, my eye level says danger cliff. At his eye level, it says danger ice. Who's right? Yeah? You see my point? So we think we're being, I got this, I'm highly educated, professional. Don't assume that you're communicating clearly. Make sure that you understand what the vision is of the organization, how you fit into it, and make sure your people understand. The communication is what really makes things. And when you are communicating, don't assume the worst. The more that you can just smile, breathe, and relax, you can work through misunderstandings. As soon as people get amped up, things get ugly. And it's usually a misunderstanding. So this is a point where we have a discussion. I've included a picture of the parachute cord. I've included a picture of my son Peter at the 2003 Nationals. I put it in there because it's my presentation, and it's a very cute picture. What I'd like you to do is just turn around with a small group of people. I'd like you to explain why you would jump out of an airplane or why you wouldn't. And I'd like you to share with people what you will take away from this presentation this morning. And we're just going to take 3 or 4 minutes. Just turn around, find somebody or a group of people to talk to, and just share your takeaway. One of my most favorite things to do with the team, by far, is to take our wounded soldiers skydiving. And I'm very fortunate I get to do a lot of that. And I have a picture here of a skydive that we did Veterans Day week last year, Walter Reed, Bethesda. The person in the blue jumpsuit inside the picture with the hat on is Lance Corporal Jesse Fletcher, Marine sniper, double amputee. And he tandem skydived us to Walter Reed, Bethesda Naval. And if you look out in front of him, we jumped with a bunch of our flags so that he could fly with us while our flags were flying under parachute. And we landed right there on Bethesda Naval. And I had the good fortune, while we were there, to just meet a lot more inspiring wounded warriors. This is Staff Sergeant Travis Smith, 82nd Airborne. He's a quad amputee, and I'm here to tell you, he has an awesome attitude. And I left there thinking to myself, what do I have to complain about? This guy's here lost all of his limbs and had an absolutely awesome attitude. That event connected us with a group of people who invited us a couple weeks ago to go down to Texas Motor Speedway in Dallas and take 30 Wounded Warriors skydiving. And this one here is Reese Hine, Air Force EOD bomb disposal. Bomb blew up while he was disarming it. His whole right side of his body has been reconstructed, and he has a prosthetic eye that is black and has the EOD logo stamped in it. Awesome sense of humor, just an absolute awesome sense of humor. I met this guy in the picture here. I got to take him skydiving at the Speedway. His name is Joel Tavera. Joel is considered the second most severely injured warrior in Afghanistan and Iraq to survive. His Hummer was hit by 5 rockets, killed the other 3 guys in the Hummer. His body, 60% of his body is covered in burns. It burned off his ears, burned off his eyelids. He's blind. He lost 30% of his hearing. He's missing 4 fingers on one arm, on one hand, and he's missing a leg. I'm going to tell you again, this guy has an awesome attitude. It's very humbling to meet these men. Just had a great attitude. He loved the whole skydive. He got a hold of my brother later in the week after this, and he goes, and my brother's like, how was your jump, Joel? He goes, awesome. He goes, your brother wouldn't shut up. And I thought, what? You know, I was like, he's blind. I'm like, well, I'm just going to talk to him the whole time and tell him what's going on, so he knows what's going on. And he actually really appreciated it. So I'm almost done here, folks. So this is a jump we did on 9/11/2008. We jumped literally over ground zero. This is video footage of it. Thank you. I don't like to talk over that video because it was probably my most favorite skydive my whole life. 2008, we had 7 flags in the air for 7 years, and our largest flag is 7,800 square feet. It fills up this room, and it weighs 300 pounds in a bag out the door. But it was one of the most inspiring skydives I've ever made because we could look right down into ground zero and see the hole that was there. This is the whole team that participated in that. I have one more video to leave you with. I can't leave you on that somber note. So we can do it together. I really hope you all take something away from this morning with me. Let's watch this video of Grandma skydiving. You need to watch Grandma's mouth. So, you know, I just think that all these skydives I made, it would be interesting if I was sunbathing in a backyard on a recliner and I was killed by falling dentures. You know, really, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your show. Come and see me over here outside.